Hello everyone, my name is Tiffany, I'm the Tipsy Artist. Today we're going to do a brief introduction about a little bit about me, my story, how I got started, and then we'll talk about our project. Okay, so a little bit about me and how I got started. I have a fun little visual here for you. So this is me as a little girl in grade school, I think in the fourth grade. And I actually started doing this in a pageant. So somebody talked me into doing a crazy pageant, and I did not sing or dance, so I taught my art and I recited my cheesy poetry, and then the rest is history. So I've been mic'd up and painting and teaching ever since. So there's that little picture. And then we also won the world record for the largest painting class of all time, more than 1,000 participants. I have a picture of that as well. So people always want to see, where's the proof? There it is. So that's us in Woodward, Oklahoma. So largest paint and sip class ever, and I think the largest painting class ever at one time. So very exciting. Very proud of that. So we accomplished that. We also had a show on PBS. Me and my husband. My husband is known here. We're in Guthrie, Oklahoma. We have an old historic building. We teach in a 100-year-old saloon. He goes by Utopia Joe. He's also an artist. So you'll get to experience our family here and all of our creativity, and we have a lot of fun here. So again, we had that show on PBS about 10 years ago. It had all kinds of fun home renovation projects and just all kinds of just creative projects, anything that we could think of. We were always, working on something. So we had that. I also had a showroom at the World Trade Center, and I sold to about 100 boutiques across the United States with my own creations. So did that for a while. But lately I've been more busy than anything with just Tipsy Artists. So we do have a commercial location here in downtown Guthrie. I'm also an Airbnb superhost, so plenty of places to stay also, so that's very wonderful, yay! And then I teach my classes here, so we're very busy with that still. And we did do very large in-person classes for many years, probably 15 years. And then, of course, when the pandemic hit, then we had to evolve and we went to online. So I currently do a lot of corporate classes, mainly with Zoom. And I do have a professional account, so very accustomed to doing that. Have lots of lighting and mics and wires, and it's crazy. So it's all very fun. Definitely been a big learning experience, but we've been doing that. And so what I've done, I think in terms of numbers there, average classes are about 20, and then my largest class ever for a corporate client was 10,000. Very fun, learned a lot. And then but 250, 120, those are all more like normal ranges that we've been doing, so we're more accustomed to that. And of course there's a lot to be gained from the 20-person class or the 30-person class are quite a bit more intimate, and definitely I think in a way it kind of goes back and forth, sometimes easier in some ways and then sometimes not, but definitely a lot of fun, get to know the people. So with that experience, I basically took the most popular class that is always requested of me, that always is extremely engaging and creates a lot of laughter, and so I created this project behind me. We'll move to that subject here. So this is a self-portrait. You might be feeling the vibes of Picasso. You're not wrong there. So he's definitely my inspiration. And we can work with tempera paint or acrylic paint. And I go ahead and I definitely start with this line art here and evolves all the way to this as a masterpiece. So it's definitely designed for beginners. Utensils, tools, very simple. So I do have an ideal set that I have posted in the description, and then I also have a footloose and fancy-free, wing it around the house kind of list. So, but ideally you would like some napkins or a wash rag, and then our brush group here would be my little family of brushes. So I've got Mama, and then I have Little Buddy, and then I have Little Bit, and pencil, permanent marker, and then we've got our plates, paint. This can be ideally acrylic, but it could also be tempera. And you could also just do it in black and white too. So if you just have those two colors, or two colors you can find around the house, just wing it, go with it. And then a bucket of water to give everybody a bath. It's going to be awesome. Okay, so that's my basic supply list, but again, things around the house, if you only have a pizza box or a piece of cardboard, cereal box, that works. Toothbrush, Q-tips are great utensils, and then pencil, the permanent markers helpful, but those kinds of things. We can still have a beautiful representation of this through abstracting the process. The abstract art component of this makes that very doable and easy. Okay, so I actually will start with this. So, and I think it's an easier way to approach it. I give them the option, but I certainly recommend like an 8 by 10, 11 by 14. Makes it very easy for a tabletop surface. And then there is a little bit of drawing in the very beginning, but it is very easy for beginners because I basically just instruct that it is done with a lot of series of shapes that the brain is already very familiar with. So it's things like parentheses, half circles, just a line, a triangle. So I try to use very familiar shapes to create everything that we have here to begin with. And of course, it's amazing with the face. It is abstracted, so it lets people be free from that notion of trying to create something that's perfect. It lets that go immediately. But we do have a very strong built-in memory of our face, and so it's always really fascinating to see how these paintings really do look like people at the end. But oftentimes they're also a bit humorous, and that's also it's a nice component to the class because there's always a lot of laughter and back and forth. And then as we start to paint and bring that in to the class, then there's a lot of variety that happens and a lot of teaching about, just basic paint mixing. So, for example, if you have blonde hair, then we might, do a primary yellow. If you've got brown, then we're going to do a cadmium orange with a little bit of black with that. Or there's just all kinds of colors now, especially with all the box colors that we have in our hair. So you could have hot pink hair, you can have colors that are not necessarily so literal and natural. You could have lime green hair or hot pink hair. So sky's the limit. This could be the fantasy you, it could be just, crazy you. It's all just very beautiful. And so whatever happens, it's all about just being very playful. But we definitely do learn a lot. We learn about the inspiration of Picasso and how he worked. And then we also learn about basic color mixing and then basic shapes. And then, of course, just that process in itself of the, doing the self-portrait process is definitely a very, it's just a very popular process for many artists. Many artists will, even the masters, they usually always did a self-portrait. So it's a beautiful project for everyone to experiment with. But it's very versatile in that you can do it as just an individual at home, alone with very basic tools, or you can do it as a team building project, and it's been a beautiful class. So again, lots of laughter, lots of freedom, which I love. Because basically when I do teach a lot of people, sometimes they can become very self-critical, and because there's so much intentional distortion with this project that makes it really just go off into a very different realm, then again that makes them feel good about the project and makes them feel a sense of accomplishment when they're done, and then also helps them learn how to relax a little bit. So that's good. All right, so again, when they are finished, their finished masterpiece will look similar to this. This is an example on 11 by 14 canvas panel, very simple, easy to find, and so it will look something like this, even with just basic tempera paints. And then, of course, they can also do just a black and white version, which would obviously look a little bit more like this, and then have a lot more sections painted in. So, but this will be what it will look like. And then sky's the limit. If they start to use toothbrushes and Q-tips, it'll just get crazy, but it'll be a lot of fun. So that's our project. It's going to be amazing. I'm so glad that you're here with me. And it all just works, through Zoom, and just like I'm talking to you now, and we're able to teach and instruct and share stories and converse back and forth. That's how it's going to work. But it's going to be a blast. So nice to meet you, and I look forward to working with you. Have a beautiful day.